So, I mean, he's sticking up for Britons.
It's not destroying anything, though.
I beg your pardon?
It's not destroying anything. People coming in, it's not destroying anything.
Welcome back, patriots from around the world, especially my English compatriots. This is several days, over a week's worth, I guess, of people talking Tommy. Tommy. A lot of English people, a lot of Brits, Scott, some Wales, but get it all here. The indifferent, the ones that support, the ones that don't, the ones that don't know. And I got to figure that a lot of the people that come over here from England are the affluent ones, can afford to travel. Or just like a lot of the white liberals we have over here. Pretty damn stupid. But there's a few of you that there was one clip in here, I'm sorry I didn't get it. I wasn't able to post because of technical difficulties. That was a rather nice one, a nice couple from Britain. But as it is, you know the routine. If you like what I'm doing here, spreading the message of freedom, and you hit the like button and you subscribe and you share these videos and of course support me. That's a real good thing, supporting me, because I need it. Cost a lot of wear and tear and a lot of me physically and mentally, and to stay out there and to keep this thing running. So if you can, go to my PayPal account. You can sign up for regular payments, or go to my shop and get one of my designs. I have a Subscribe Star page that I'd like to see some people sign up for. Hit Badass Uncle Sam, Subscribe Star, Badass Uncle Sam. So, anyways, a long video. I want to get to it, and I'll see you on the flip end. God bless you, and remember, you can't do anything else. Do pray for me out there. Thank you very much.
But they're having European elections right now, and there's a new party run by Nigel Farage, who is going to win.
Now, are you familiar with Tommy Robinson?
No.
Should be. He'd make you proud.
Okay.
He's the UK, and he's running for office right now also in the northwest of
I'll have to look out for him.
Yeah, he got very popular speaking out about the influx of the immigration coming in.
Well, that seems to be a trend that's why all these people are getting elected.
Yeah. So check him out.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. So you know about Tommy?
Yeah, I don't like what I know about Tommy, though.
You don't? Why not?
It's the people he surrounds himself with and things that he says.
What does he say that you don't like?
Just not unpleasant things.
Like, give me an example.
I don't like to say it. That's such a nice day.
I mean, he's sticking up for Brits. He's talking about the influx of the immigration coming in and how it's destroying your culture, your neighborhoods. So, I mean, he's sticking up for Britons.
It's not destroying anything, though.
I beg your pardon?
It's not destroying anything. People coming in, it's not destroying anything. They've always moved around.
So them throwing bricks, raping people, no-go zones, that's not destroying?
I don't know of any no-go zones.
Well, there certainly are plenty of them. I've talked to other Brits that tell me about them.
Do you know of any no-go zones?
You know.
I don't know of. I've been every corner of the British Isles. I don't know any no-go zones.
But the increase in crime in London, of course, the stabbings, the fact that, the Muslims, the radical ones that are coming in, do not want to assimilate. They don't want to become Britons. They don't want to assimilate into yours. They want to enact Sharia law.
You know what Sharia law is, right?
I don't like that.
Yeah, well, that's what they want to enact.
I don't like that.
They don't want to abide by British law. That's one of the things he talks about. It says it would be okay if they would have just abide by British law, but they are disregarding British law.
But most people do. There's only a few people that go for that Syria law. Most people are decent people.
Well, then we're talking about the Muslim group rape rings that he was reporting on that they threw him in jail for.
They threw him in jail though because he was reporting on it when he shouldn't have been.
Why not?
Because there was somebody thought he shouldn't do it, and that's okay.
What do you mean somebody thought he shouldn't be? Why shouldn't he be reporting on that?
Because there was what do you call it? An injunction to.
He was on the street.
I shouldn't have done it.
He was on the street reporting about something that's already been reported. He was reading from a news report that was already reported on.
I don't know about that. I'm not
Well,
sure
I
about
do.
that.
I follow the man.
We're not shopping, mate.
So he was reading
Anyway.
from a report that was already reported
I'm
on.
not sure. But,
I am sure.
well,
of
I'm
it.
not sure. I'm not sure. He wouldn't have been put in jail for no reason. We don't do that in the UK. We
Bullshit.
don't do that.
Bullshit. Every country, every government will do that if they want to come down on you. If you think the government... Do you think you really trust government over people? You really trust the government that much? You telling me that your government has never jailed anybody without reason? Are you really seriously going to tell me that?
No, they might have got it wrong, but they had a reason. It might have been the wrong reason, but they got it.
No, they got it wrong,
Yeah.
and they let him out. Now they're trying to retry him for the same thing over again.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a different place than that anyway.
Dumb fuck Brit. Yeah, well, she's been touted as the worst prime minister
Oh, she is. Oh, without doubt.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been hearing from other people from the UK.
Yeah.
And you know, it's what's in our news here.
Well, I mean, you've got your own problems.
Oh, indeed we do. Indeed we do. We do that.
You've
But
been
yeah,
here a long time, haven't you?
yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. So you've come by before? You've seen-
yeah.
Did we talk about Tommy Robinson the last time?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. No.
Are you familiar with Tommy Robinson?
Yes, I didn't. I didn't know him then.
Yes.
He's come to the fore now. He's been.
Yeah, he's running for office. He's actually,
Oh, he's got his own party, isn't he? That's right.
he's actually running for office.
Far right wing. Right wing, yeah.
Well, I don't know if he's far right wing. People like to portray him as that, but I think he's just, you know, the right wing. I mean, he's.
Well, he's less right wing than say Farage.
Oh yeah, well yeah. But he is. I think.
He's the one that is had problems.
Well, they try to because he speaks truth.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, they always they trump up charges on him. They try to throw him in jail.
That's right.
So,
I know
yeah.
it is now.
Yeah.
A sudden charge, a trumped up charge, wasn't it? What was it? He took a picture or recording of somebody.
He was in front of a courthouse talking about a Muslim group rape ring that was going on, you
Young
know,
girls,
and they just came along and said, get in the back of this lorry, and took him to prison immediately. No court, nothing. 4 hours later, he's in jail for 14 months, 13 months.
Didn't he appeal? He appealed, didn't he?
Actually, there was a big uproar. A lot of people demonstrated. Even Donald Trump sent our ambassador over there and said, excuse me, but this ain't happening.
Yeah.
And they let him out. But now they're trying to retry him again for the same charges and throw him back in jail. And the court date is the same day as the election. So they're really trying to mess with him.
Well,
so you know they're trying. He must be saying the right thing if they're trying to mess with him that bad.
like Farage, he speaks the truth.
Oh, Farage, yeah, Farage.
They don't like him.
Yeah. Some people are getting sideways on Farage because they feel he's becoming more establishment, and the UKIP is more like what they're going into.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what he's famous for.
You can take one of those. That's a get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton. That's good for any crime in the world.
I like it, yeah.
Very good. We keep one more.
Yeah, sure. Thanks very much, yeah. Want to go out the sun, it's burning my
So
neck.
when are you going back to the UK?
Thursday.
Thursday.
We went to Memphis first, then 3 days there, then came down here last Sunday. Last Sunday.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how the election turns out. Yes, pleasure.
Just weekends. It's just weekends for you, is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. You came in the week. Good to see you again.
Oh, pleasure.
I forgot your name, sorry.
Sorry.
You're...
Badass Uncle Sam.
I like it. See ya.
Bye-bye.
No.
Okay. Yeah, Tommy Robinson. How do you feel about Tommy Robinson?
Well, you know what? I think he's been shut down for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? It's like freedom of speech in that situation there with him. He's walking all over it.
Yes.
Walking all over everybody, and this man is he's banned from Facebook, all social media now. And this thing with the milkshakes, haven't they thrown milkshakes on everybody now?
Yes.
I saw they did Nigel Farage the other day, somebody got him with a...
Right.
And then they got Robinson with one, and nothing happened to them whatsoever. Nothing
Right. Yeah, they tried to pelt him with bricks and everything at the last rally, you know.
I saw that when he split it up, and the police were protecting him on the other side. I think
Yeah, and you know, like my rule of thumb is if they're trying to silence them, you want to listen to them. Those are the people you want to listen to. And I think he's doing the Brits proud. I think he's sticking up for Britain. I think he's sticking up for your culture. I think he's sticking up for a lot that, you know, you ought to be proud of. So, yeah, that's very good. Yeah, there you go. It's good for any crime in the world. It's a get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton. It's even good back in Scotland. You know, you can go ahead and
Nice talking to you, my friend.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Yes, thank you very much. And thanks for supporting Tommy. You know, it's a good thing. Very good.
You're good.
I saw the chap yesterday. I said, well, surely, look at America, look at the commerce. It's got the dollar's very strong, trade's very good, business is good. He said, oh yes, that's due to the previous, due to Obama.
They always say that.
Oh, but it's
They say that in England. They say that in England.
You can't win, can you? You know.
But you know, there's a lot easy counter for that, but that's absolutely not true.
Well, I'm sure. And then he said, oh, people are ashamed of Trump or embarrassed in America. I said, well, somebody voted for him, surely. He said, yeah, they're all stupid. So,
yeah, I mean,
we quite like it.
I like the fact he's trying to build a wall. Keep out the...
Well, thank you.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, it's a lot with, like,
We love
you know,
anything
with
like
Tommy Robinson was trying to do for the UK.
We love anything like that. But you see a lot of people, oh, that's not right, politically incorrect, and human rights and all that load of rubbish.
Exactly.
Ooh.
I know.
I think it's because of our age, don't you?
Maybe
too?
to do with it.
Oh, indeed. Well, we at least came from an era where we understood nationalism. There was patriotism. There was pride in country. There wasn't all this love, kumbaya. You know.
I know. Hugging and kissing. That awful song they keep playing.
Wonderful World.
Wonderful World.
No.
Oh, we hate it. We hate that song. I hear babies crying. I thought I don't want to hear babies crying. And we all love each other. I love you.
In America, surely you compared to us, you're much more patriotic. I mean, look at you. You know, your flag waving is Memorial Sunday or Monday rather. More than we are. You're doing your bit.
Yeah.
Not like it was years ago, perhaps, but
well,
Yes, you're patriotic more so than we are.
Oh yeah.
Nigel got so many.
Britons are always a little bit more subdued and polite.
Where we live, it's nothing else but
Arabs.
Yeah.
that's all we see.
Yeah.
The buses.
They've all got prams for kids in.
Yeah.
So they'll be staying in England. They won't be deported or anything. Or even if they come in on the boats, they're still saying that.
They're changing your entire culture.
Oh, tell us about it. I'm glad I'm not, in a way, I'm glad I'm not young anymore.
Well, indeed.
Mind you, if you're young, you may not see it. I don't know.
Well, that's
where
it.
my daughter lives,
you see, we at least have a memory.
Yes.
They don't have a memory of
All we
anything.
can see is Arabs. And these ones that have their faces covered, just their eyes poking out. Ooh.
Yeah.
We've got loads of them, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. There's not the students demonstrating. My God, students demonstrating. Hardly a week passes. It's about the ozone layers, or it's about, oh God Almighty, save the world.
On the flip side, I looked at the results of the election today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
What are elections?
What does it tell us?
all the nationalists were voted in.
Farage.
Le Pen, Farage.
In France, yeah.
Yes. All the nationalists were
That's
voted
us.
in.
Yeah.
I voted for
I voted for him
Sydney
too. I
Bob.
voted
Yes.
for Farage. Yeah, yeah.
Farage.
Yes.
We love him. He says what he shouldn't say, but he says it.
Well, that's true. You
Yeah.
know,
Speak the truth.
but he said that's what they say about him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a
I love
pushback.
that. She's so
Yeah.
upset she didn't get in. Look.
You were saying, sorry.
Yeah, there is a
Pushback,
pushback. I mean, that's the election results is that. The globalists who want to eliminate borders are losing. People are realizing, like you, that your culture is being changed,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and they don't want it.
See,
They-
where my daughter lives, she lives in Hampshire, a county in Hampshire, and you don't see any foreigners or only English. I know that sounds a bit grim, but they're all English in the shops. You go into a big supermarket, everybody's English. Come into London, you don't see a sign of an English.
All the
Sometimes
big
we're
cities,
the only,
big cities, you always get immigrants coming in to get
we're
the
the only two, aren't we? Sometimes. And it used to be a big Irish element, but they're poor Irish.
They moved up.
The old ones can't move, they can't afford to. The young ones are not coming in anymore to that. So we've got Arabs. Where have you got them here?
There are pockets of them. What they tend to do, because they're very politically astute,
Oh yeah.
what they tend to do is they'll go into a community and take over a small
Oh,
area.
that's what they've
of
done.
community.
Oh yeah.
And that the fact that like Americans, maybe 30% of us will vote. All of them vote. So if they move into a pocket or a community,
Which they've done in
they take it over politically by making sure
Well, they've done.
everybody votes.
And they're all
Yeah, yeah,
pregnant,
yeah.
they're all having babies,
Yes.
they're all staying there, and if they want a house or flat, they go ahead of everybody else.
Yes.
They get everything. We've paid in for our national health, which is a very good thing in our country. You get your health free, we
Yes.
paid in for it all. They come in and get it, no, why don't keep paying it?
Yep. Well, as I said,
I'm glad to have a moan. I have to have a moan.
All right, calm down.
that's why there's a pushback. That's why the Nationalists won. That's why Tommy Robinson is popular.
Good, I shall vote for him.
Oh, yes.
Because we wish we could build a wall and keep all the buggers out.
And that's another thing I'm a little bit bugged at him at. See, he has the power to put the military on the border.
Yeah.
The full force of the military and stop all of this like that.
We should do that, we
Well,
don't.
there we are.
But he hasn't done that yet. I don't know why he hasn't done
I can know why we don't do it. It's against human rights, but I didn't think you had all that here.
Well, what about your human rights?
We haven't got any.
got any.
We have not got any. If you've been born in English, I'm English, and lived, we have to be British now, along with all these others. They're all British. You can be Irish, Welsh, or Scottish, but you can't be English. You've got to be British. And everybody comes in, Pakistani, they're British, if they've been lived here.
Well, that's what they're doing here too, and that's why there's a pushback here. It's why I got in. They're giving the people that come over here more rights
Oh,
and
they
more
got
than
the same, yeah.
the Americans.
And another lot that get on my nerves are the Romanians. They sit and beg all the way up the streets. They're really filthy and they wash it. The public toilets have been closed down because they go and wash themselves. Oh, I could stand here all day having a moan, having a moan.
Come on, take a walk. We're going to
You
take a
have to
walk.
put me on Valium.
If you're done, you're done. See you later.
Are you here tomorrow?
No, I won't be able
Well, we might not see you again, but anyway, lovely.
Oh,
So,
it's
what's
been
your
a pleasure.
name? Oh, we got a
to.
card.
Badass Uncle Sam.
Oh, yes.
Do you have my card?
Take
Give me
another one.
another
Yes,
card.
please
in
do,
case-
please do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
All right.
Back, yeah.
It's a good American name, Sam. I love it. That's very,
And don't
very
forget,
nice.
support Tommy Robinson. He really
Okay,
needs
yeah.
he needs your support.
It does, actually.
Come on.
God bless
Right, okay.
you. Where was the last time you were in London?
A week ago.
A week ago? And what do the two of you do in London?
So we both just quit our jobs actually.
Really? What
Yeah.
were you doing?
We were in finance before.
In finance?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we both just quit and we're refinding life.
But are you familiar with this gentleman here, Tommy Robinson?
No. What does Tommy do?
I think he would make you proud. He's from Luton originally, and he.
Been to Luton?
No, I've never been. But if anybody would give me a like a reason to go to London, it would be you two. I swear.
Luton Palace. Have you heard of Luton Palace?
Okay.
Really nice. Really nice.
But what Mr. Robinson started doing as a citizen journalist, he started reporting from the street about what was happening to his neighborhood originally with the influx of the the immigration that was coming in, how it was changing his neighborhood, his city, and his country. And as he kept on reporting, the government, of course, got very upset at it. And started pressing charges against him, making up charges against him. They'd throw him in jail. He was just getting all kinds of flack from the government for reporting on the, how the influx was changing your culture, changing England. And he's currently running for office.
Oh, right.
I think in the northeastern part of the UK, if I'm not mistaken. And he's become a very big cause celeb for Britain, for people of London.
Because, a lot of the immigrants have been stealing the jobs from Luton Palace. Loads of them.
Have you found in London a change in the culture there due to the influx?
The worst one is Luton Palace.
Luton Palace?
It's awful what's happened at Luton Palace.
What?
She's lost it. She's lost it.
Must have been the water.
I'm going to take her away so she can
Must
sit
be
down.
the heat.
Yeah. So nice to meet you.
Always nice, but I would check on Tommy Robinson. I think he would do you proud. I think he would do you proud, and you do England proud. God bless you.
Bye.
Right? How do you feel about the election?
The European elections.
Yes.
I think that it's polarised the country. I think there's no sign of any compromise or consensus now on Brexit. Half the country wants to leave the European Union, the other half wants to stay. None of that is good, and I think that what happened in last week's vote is that democracy is being seen to have been broken.
Indeed. It doesn't seem like the government is abiding by the people's vote.
Yeah, so we have a representative democracy like you have here in the US, so we elect our politicians and they make the decisions. But in this particular issue, the elected politicians, the representative democracy, handed the decision back to the people and said, whatever you decide, we will follow. And the people decided to leave the European Union, and therefore, irrespective of what elected politicians themselves think on the issue, they must carry out the will of the people.
You think they will?
No, I don't. And I think that will be a massive constitutional crisis.
Indeed. Now, you're familiar with this gentleman, Tommy Robinson?
Yes, we see him as rather too extreme for our taste.
Who's we?
Well, the people who want to leave the European Union, and the right of centre groupings in the UK see Tommy Robinson as too right wing, really, because we don't like
for wanting to defend your culture and your country.
No, because we are already a multiracial society, and there's nothing we can do to change that. So we have to live together in harmony.
But that's not happening according to all reports. I mean, it's one thing, and indeed, England always has been very accepting, like we are. We have the most open immigration policy in any country in the world. But the deal is to accept and assimilate into the culture you are moving into.
Yes.
When you have an over-influx of people from a different culture that refuse to accept your culture or assimilate into it, you're going to have a clash.
Yes.
You're going to have an inner war.
Yes.
Because they're going to try to take over your country. Essentially, you're inviting an enemy into your country that's going to take it over from the inside.
Yes, but what's happening in the UK that maybe isn't being as widely reported outside the UK, for 90% or more of our immigrant community, that assimilation has taken place. We don't have a massive problem of non-assimilation. We don't.
Well, that not according to the riots, not according to the crime statistics, not according to the reports that the no-go zones, and also you see the one thing about radical Muslims is that they know how to take advantage of our freedoms. In other words, like here in the United States, what they'll do about because we're so laissez-faire and just we're victims of comfort and we don't give a damn. Only about 30% of us will even participate in an election. Well, the Muslims, when they come in, will take over a community, but 90% or more of them will vote.
Yeah.
So a small percentage of them can politically take over the large area, which we have had happen here with some radical Muslims getting into our Congress. Same thing can happen over there. But Tommy Robinson reporting on what was happening in his neighborhood, then his city, and then the country, on the fact that Muslim group rape rings were not being prosecuted or not even facilitated by authorities, got him in trouble with the authorities because, speaking truth to power. At the last rally he had, which he held in an area away from the Muslim communities, the police escorted a large group of radical Muslims to that rally, and then they started attacking the people in the rally.
Yeah.
So when you have the authorities facilitating the radicals, you've got something beyond just the mere fact of 90% of the people will assimilate, but the 10% that won't are being facilitated by the authorities. You've got a problem.
I think that complicity has been overstated. I think what the UK authorities try to do is get all of the protests concentrated into one place where it can be controlled. So they're effectively corralling the protesters into one area to protest.
No, in this case, they bust them in, and escorted the radicals to the Tommy Robinson rally.
Yeah.
So the police facilitated the confrontation.
Right.
It's not like, we're not talking about they get them all together and control them. It's like there was a rally over here, they bust the radicals in, escorted them to the rally, and then stood by, because you can see the films, stood by while these radicals were throwing rocks at women and children, and did nothing. And then when confronted about that on camera, kind of like went, it's not a job, we're just trying to keep them separated. Well, if you're trying to keep them separated, what did you escort them there for? So I'm talking about...
We are much more concerned as the right of centre parties in the UK with getting out of the European Union, because America wouldn't allow itself to be ruled by an unelected parliament of a foreign power, and we don't see why we should be. And the people have voted to leave the EU, and we must leave the EU. And if we don't leave the EU, that will spark a ginormous political crisis. And we're just about to elect a new leader of the government, new leader of the Conservative Party. It is essential that that elected leader is in favour of leaving the EU, and if necessary, we must leave the EU on the 31st of October without a deal.
What you're doing essentially is echoing what he said.
No,
if you do not follow what the people say, then you don't have a representative government. I mean, that's essentially what he's saying.
It's even more than that, because not only do we have a representative government, but we have the representative government handed the decision to the people as a one-off referendum, and once you do that, you have no choice but to follow the result.
But they're not.
I know. Well, that's going to be...
I mean, if they have no choice and they don't, that just says, that they do have a choice because they're not following.
So how we're seeing it is 1,000 years of British democracy just being discarded by 100 elected politicians who represent constituencies that voted leave, having given the vote to the people who voted leave, but have then decided they know better than the people, and therefore they want to remain.
Well, even John Cleese got in trouble, I don't know if you saw that recently, by saying London is no longer English. It's Londonstan. It's like a foreign country. You go in there, and you can't hardly find anything that representative of the English culture there.
same vein, though, is it not the case that New York is equally metropolitan? I think New York is a...
Yeah, but you don't have people, well, I guess you do when you want to speak about the leftists that are basically communists now, but you don't have like an element, a foreign element coming in there and trying to take over the city entire. In other words, they're not trying to take over the culture of New York.
We don't. We don't. I think it's being misrepresented in the US. We don't.
Well, I've spoken to other people from England who say that their life has changed dramatically because of the influx of these Muslims coming in. If you'd like to leave anything in the Bulletproof Vest Fund, that their lives, their lifestyles have changed because of the influx of these Muslims. That they don't feel safe walking down the streets. That the women can't go to the bathhouses. Their life has changed. They feel fearful in their own country. There's neighborhoods they can't walk into.
Yeah, no, I'm not aware of any areas in the UK that are no-go zones.
Well, and then you ought to speak to some of the people I've spoken to from the UK.
We do have a lot of problems with black youths stabbing each other to death.
Yeah, you got the knife attacks have gone up dramatically.
But you and I could walk through those areas and have no problem at all. We could live in those areas and have no problems at all. The black gangs are fighting out a turf war for control of the drugs trade. But it's not. We haven't quite lost control of our country yet.
Well, I've heard pros and cons on that. I've heard that some people say they have and others say they haven't.
Right.
So, it's kind of like, I don't know. I pray for you. I'll help you because, obviously we have a lot in common. Thank you very much. Very kind.
Once we're out the EU, who knows what can happen then? Okay, well, very nice to have met you.
Indeed. Enjoy.
And, let's hope for re-election.
Amen.
He's going to get re-elected easily, isn't he?
Well, it all depends on the economy. If the economy stays strong, we don't have a crash where they can blame that on him, then he'll be elected handily.
Yeah.
But if the economy goes south, then they have an excuse because right now our radical left elements are doing everything they can to try to give it up.
If you end up with European-style socialism, which is what the Democrats are advocating, you will not believe the impact that has.
Well, I think they want to go way beyond that. I think the left now is advocating way beyond just democratic socialism, and they're going into Marxism.
So are we. Our left is Marxist, Jeremy Corbyn, but we are the highest rate of tax in the UK, including indirect taxes, on sale taxes and so on, is already heading towards 60%, and they want to increase it beyond that. It's hardly worth going to work. I know people who say, every Friday I'll just go and have a round of golf or go fishing. There's no point in working because it's all tiered. Once you get past £150,000, which is $200,000, it's not worth working because they take the whole lot.
All right, sir.
And of course, that's all those jobs that would otherwise be created not being.
Indeed.
This is why Donald Trump is a genius. Cut taxes, get the economy moving. All these people who have never worked or are unable to find a job, all in work. That is the starting point for a proper democracy with everybody pointing in the same direction. Everybody has to have a stake in society, don't they?
Thank you.
To buy into its values.
Thank you. So how did you get familiar with Tommy Robinson?
It's YouTube, seen him on YouTube. I get on there and I watch videos, and sometimes the video leads into other.
Yes.
And I clicked on there, and there was one thing a couple years ago when there was when the van in France mowed down, the Muslims, the radical Islamic terrorists, mowed down the people there. He was talking about that, and talking about just basically how they're giving away their culture.
Yes.
Completely giving away their culture.
Yes. I spoke to an English guy today who was told, "Oh no, we're not giving away our culture to them." This is made by. It's spoken. It seems like more Americans are aware of what the hell's going on over there than a lot of English. But the English seem to be as a split over there as we are over here.
Yes. You familiar with Christopher Hitchens?
Yes.
I did not agree with him on everything. Now I saw him talk about one time. He was an atheist. So he was an atheist, but he said he had a lot of good friends that were Christians. He said, one thing you don't hear anymore is Christendom.
Right.
You had the Islamic world and you had Christendom. And there was a divide.
Right.
You can't name one predominantly Islamic country that people are migrating to. There's not one. There's not one.
Right.
So what happens when they become the majority? It's just it's the nature of the religion. It's a political ideology.
It's their way or the highway, man.
Absolutely, and that's what the point he would make with it. It's a political ideology. So, anyway.
All right.
Keep it up, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
West Midlands
West Midlands.
and Wales.
Wales. There's a lot going on in England right now.
You're very correct.
Just had some elections.
Indeed.
President is there tomorrow.
Yes, the president will be there tomorrow. Indeed, Matt. Are you
Tea
familiar?
with the Queen.
Yes. How do you think that'll go? You think that'll be...
Oh, I'm sure she's very polite.
That's nice. Are you familiar with this gentleman?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
What is your opinion of Mr. Robinson?
Well, that's a safe option, but he's not someone I would personally want to share a drink with, or because his views are very different to mine.
Really? He seems to want to help protect Britain.
That's a nice thought.
I mean, have you listened to any of his speeches?
Some.
And what do you find objectionable to them?
Well, it's not so much the speeches, because the speeches are all pretty well calculated to be reasonable. It's the actions that accompany the speeches.
What actions would they be?
Violent actions?
Well, the only violence I seen was like in, let's take the last rally he had, which he held in an area that was away from everything. It was with people that were familiar with him. And the police bust in and escorted Muslims, violent Muslims, that attacked his people, started throwing rocks and bottles at them. So the police escorted the violent protesters in. Wasn't him that started it. He had his rally in an area that was sympathetic to him, his feelings. He was, talking about running, starting from home. Ma'am, I looked at the videos. They were raw video. The raw video. No news. Nobody telling me what to think. Nobody else telling me what to think. I'm looking at the speech. I'm looking at the police bringing the people in. I'm looking at interviews on the street with the police, asking them why they brought these people in to throw rocks and bottles at Tommy Robinson's
We're
people.
just heading over here, and clearly we have different views, but it's good to meet you. It's always good to meet you.
Yeah, but indeed, I want to know, she brings up where I get my news. I'm getting them from my own eyes.
Okay.
I don't know where you're getting yours.
Okay, thanks for stopping by. And you know what to do. If you like it, you like it. If you care, you share. If you can contribute. And of course, you pray for me. So we keep fighting the fight for this freedom. We are winning. In spite of it all, every weapon they use against us shall not prosper. So, from across from this side of the pond to the other side, support for Tommy. God bless you. See you on the streets.